Assume the code is wrong until shown otherwise. That is a real instruction written to one agent inside this build loop. Its whole job is to distrust the work. And here's the strange part. That same agent is forbidden from touching the code it judges. It cannot fix one line. There are 12 specialists in this loop. Only one of them is allowed to write code. This is the org chart, and it is built on a wall. You have spun up more than one agent on a task, maybe a writer and a checker, maybe a whole swarm, and you have watched what happens when they all share the same powers. The agent that finds a problem just fixes it quietly. The one that grades the work also did the work. So the grade is worthless. This is the hazard in a multi-agent system. Not that any single agent is dumb, it is that every agent can do everything. When one process can propose a change, approve it, and ship it, no step is a check on any other. It is one actor wearing 4 hats. A human org solves this with separation of duties. The person who writes the check does not also sign it. Strip that rule out, and you do not get an organization. You get a mob with a shared login, and a mob cannot be trusted to run while you sleep. None of this is my metaphor. Each agent is a real file on disk, 12 of them in one folder. Every file opens with a name, a one-line job, and a list of the tools it is handed. That list is the whole story. The builder's file states its job in a single line, the only agent that modifies code. The reviewer's file grants 3 tools, and a shell is not one of them. You are reading the design, not my summary of it. Walk the roster. At the front, 3 writers turn your goal into a plan. A spec author turns the brief into testable requirements. An architect turns those into a design. A data architect handles the data model, tenancy, and retention. Then the doers. A builder writes the code. A test runner runs the suite. An integration tester stands the whole system up. A deployer packages it to ship, and around them the judges. A planner picks the single next task. A reviewer tears the changes apart. A security reviewer hunts vulnerabilities. A hardening reviewer probes for production failure. A documentation writer records what was truly built. 12 narrow jobs. Now the load-bearing fact, of those 12, exactly one is told to touch your product code. The builder, that is not a convention. It is stated in the builder's file, and only there. 2 agents hold that same full grant, the builder and the deployer. But the deployer's brief fences it to its own deploy artifacts, never the code base. So the job of changing the product belongs to one role and no other. Read that back. When source moves, one agent owns it, not 11 suspects. 1. Blame is never ambiguous because that one job is never shared. Now zoom in on 2 of those judges. 2 of the 12 are cut down to the bone. They can read files, search them, and list them. That is all. No writing, no shell. They cannot run a single command. The first is the planner. It reads the whole state and picks the one next task to do. Then it stops, it decides the direction, and cannot walk a step of it. The second is the reviewer, and this is where the wall shows its teeth. Remember its instruction. Assume the code is wrong until shown otherwise. That is an adversary by design. It reads every change and reports what is broken by severity with the smallest fix, and it cannot apply that fix. It cannot touch one character. Ask why you would cripple your sharpest critic like that. Because a reviewer that can edit is a reviewer that marks its own homework. It would find a flaw, silently patch it, and report a clean pass. The finding would vanish into the fix. Strip its hands, and it has only one move left. Say what is wrong out loud in a report someone else has to act on. The distrust is only worth something because it cannot resolve itself. Here is the roster on disk. 12 files, 1 folder. Watch the tools line on each one. The builder gets write and a shell. The reviewer gets read and nothing else. The difference between those 2 lines is the whole safety model printed in plain text. 12 agents, 1 writes the code, 2 can only ever read it. Now count the shells. Widen back out, and the wall has a clean shape. Count who can run a command and who cannot. 6 of the 12 can reach a shell, 6 cannot. And the split is not random. The 6 with a shell are the ones that run real code. The builder, the 2 testers, and the deployer. The other 2, the security and hardening reviewers, get a shell on a leash. Their files say it flatly. Read only audit and probe commands. Do not modify anything. Run nothing destructive. They can look with a shell. They cannot change with it. So a shell alone does not make an agent dangerous. The wall cares what you may do with it, not that you hold it. On the other side, the 6 with no shell are the writers and the pure judges. The spec author, the architect, the data architect, the planner, the reviewer, the documentation writer. They think, they read, they decide, they never execute. You already saw this proven in an earlier teardown. A no-shell reviewer waved a change through, and the tester with a shell caught the break. Both roles exist on purpose, and neither one holds both powers. The wall decides what each agent may do. A second choice decides what each one costs. Every agent runs on a fixed model set by its role. 3 different models appear across the roster. You already priced out the split. Opus for judgment, Sonnet for the build loop. 8 of the 12 run on that top judgment tier, where a wrong call rots everything underneath it. You pay for care. 3 run on the cheaper, faster building tier. What is new here is the floor. Down in the loop sits a 3rd tier you have not met. The plain test runner just runs the suite and reports pass or fail. It runs on the cheapest model of all. Its job is mechanical. You do not pay a genius to read an exit code. Cost follows role, exactly like capability does. 2 agents sit at that crossing, the planner and the reviewer. The reviewer is where it bites. It gets the best model in the building and the emptiest toolbox. The sharpest judgment denied every hand. That is not an accident. That is the design. Step back and see the whole shape. 12 agents, 1 writes the product, 2 can only read and judge, 6 can run commands, 6 cannot, and every grant serves 1 goal. Keep the power to grade apart from the power to change what is graded. The 2 pure judges are denied hands entirely. The 2 audit judges get a shell they are ordered not to write with. 1 wall is capability, the other is mandate, and both hold. The single builder is watched by everyone, forbidden to be it. That is why 12 stateless sessions behave like an organization and not a mob, not because they are smart, because their powers split by role, and the split is the safety. Capability and mandate both follow role. That one rule is the entire trick. So back to the wall we opened on. An agent is told to assume the code is wrong and then forbidden to fix a line of it. That is not a limitation, it is the point. 12 specialists, and only one of them can write code because a judge with hands judges nothing. Here is your one action. Open your own multi-agent setup and find each agent's tool grant, 1 line in its file, then ask the blunt question. Can this one both do the work and approve it? Where the answer is yes, and nothing but a polite instruction stops it, that agent marks its own homework. Draw the wall there. Next, the one thing we have not opened yet, the contract these judges enforce, written up front by the spec author, the definition of done itself. Receipts, as always.